Can Nottingham Forest go all the way? So I've just come back from our win over Southampton, and I just want to have a little chat about our boys in red and what I think we should do before the winter window slams shut. Now, last time I yapped about Nottingham Forest, we come back from a win against Everton and had a Wolves game coming up. We eased past Wolves, putting 3 past them, with even Taiwo scoring, which, if you know how he plays, that's quite impressive. We were helped by some brilliant saves by Sells, and Strand Lawson just not really being that good. Wolves had their fair share of chances, but they just couldn't put them away, and ultimately, it cost them. We also progressed to the FA Cup, dispatching Luton with our second string, putting up some good performances, and as players you don't really see that often, proved that, they're still pretty good. So our depth is there and is performing. Next up was a title clash as we hosted Liverpool, and Forest actually took the lead 8 minutes on, with the beautiful Chris Wood scoring the opener. I don't think I've ever screamed like that in a long time, but it was fucking good. And we were leading from that 8th minute until Diogo Bloody Jota came on as a substitute and grabbed an equaliser with his first touch of the ball. But we'll talk about that more a bit later. Still though, Liverpool have failed to beat us this season and we've taken 4 points from them, so it's a dub in my eyes. We got back to winning ways against the Saints, but we were quite close to throwing that away as well. But that was in part due to Anthony Taylor's very questionable performance in the black. 9 games unbeaten, with 8 wins from those, is not too shabby. 8 games in the Prem, 7 wins, plus our FA Cup tie. It's looking pretty solid for the boys in red, I can't lie. Things are looking pretty good at the moment. But I need to talk about our game against Southampton. Or rather, the game against Anthony Taylor, as it would turn out to be. He really did his darndest to ensure we dropped points here. Firstly, Southampton should have had more plays booked than they did, and possibly even one sent off. There's some very reckless challenges that were just largely unpunished by Taylor. Both in the first and second half, these Southampton players were just diving into these very questionable challenges and just getting away with it for the most part. It's actually crazy some of the things they got away with. And yeah, at least one player should have been sent off. Anthony Taylor bottled it there. They should have gone down to 10 men at some point. That Downs bloke really should not have been on the pitch, in my opinion. He was just terrible tackles all around, and he got away with it because he was subbed off. Scummy bastards. Southampton scored from a, albeit dodgy, free kick before us went the other way and scored themselves. We restored our deficit within mere minutes, only for it to be ruled offside. Now, I want you to watch this goal back. I'm going to play it for you shortly, and tell me how Wood, the offending player, was offside, or as they put it, interfering with the keeper. I'll let you have a watch. So yeah, if you didn't spot anything, that's because there was nothing in it. Plain and simple. And if we're going to talk about interfering with the keeper, then how come Liverpool's equaliser stood in that game when Sells was clearly interfered with? Just a bit of consistency would be nice. I don't mind that Liverpool equalised, because they are a very good side, and Diogo Jota was bound to score against us. But then this goal goes and gets disallowed in a game we still won. It's crazy. That goal was perfectly valid and should have stood. There was not a single defender attempting to cover Milenkovic, and Woody was onside when Milenkovic connected with the ball. He was in no way interfering with play or the keeper. Yes, he was offside when the ball was struck, but by the time Milenkovic connected with it, he was clearly onside. Why Taylor went to the monitor, watched the goal, then disallowed it is beyond me, quite frankly. I don't understand how this couldn't be given as offside. At no point during that routine was Wood interfering with anything that would have otherwise not caused a goal, if you know what I'm saying. Like, if Woody's not there, Milenkovic probably still scores that goal. Like, if Woody's onside for the entire thing, I think Milenkovic still puts that away, because the defenders weren't doing their job, and Southampton really got let off with that one. Taylor is allegedly one of the best refs in the PGMOL, but from my experience and a lot of other fans' experiences, not just Forest fans, but for Premier League fans in general, he is horribly incompetent and, in my personal opinion, should be kept away from Forest. He always has a shocking performance when it's a game involving us. If it was up to me, Anthony Taylor would be nowhere near the Premier League because he is awful. Truly awful. He likes to make it all about himself, as the fans let him know. Ramsdale, though, must be laughing, you know, that Milenkovic goals was ruled out because that was some horrific goalkeeping from him. He got the ball and then somehow fumbled it into his own net. So there's a clear reason why they call him Ramsdale, because that was shocking. And Morgan Gibbs-White as well was also elbowed in the head, and there was just no punishment for that.
Have a fucking word with him then, ref!
I really cannot understand what Anthony Taylor was doing during the entirety of that match and the officiating he was doing, because it was dreadful. I'm not saying he's got an agenda against us, but it happens far too often to just be a coincidence. Or maybe he's just a shit official, which is very possible from what I've seen today, and in the past, of course. But let's move away from that game. You know, we got 3 points, job done, had the chance to improve our goal difference on Arsenal, and unfortunately, we couldn't do so. But we held on, kept the 3 points, which is all that matters in the end. But what this game, and to a lesser extent the Liverpool game, showed me was that we desperately need another striker before the transfer window slams shut. Taiwo just doesn't cut it anymore. I'm sorry, but he just doesn't cut the mustard. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love the bloke, but he's just not the player that he used to be, and he doesn't really offer much when he's up top. I'm not sure what's happened. Maybe there's something going on in his personal life that we don't know about, and fair enough if that is so, but he really just doesn't look like the player he used to be. I remember the start of last season and towards the end of our first season in the Premier League, Bro's banging in goals like there was no tomorrow, and, you know, he got injured, and we rushed him back, to be fair, so that is on us. But since he's come back into the team, it's just not been scoring goals. He doesn't look like doing anything, really. Even the Wolves goal was quite lucky from, you know, where he was and how he scored it. But I thought, you know, maybe if he got a goal, he'd get the confidence and he'd kick on, but he's just not done that. This game specifically against Southampton, there were so many times, you know, we were 3-2 up. We had quite a few opportunities to, you know, build back our goal difference, get another goal, get another 2 goals. But because Taiwo was the man up front, we just couldn't do that. There were many balls that were put into a spot where Taiwo should have been, and I'm sure would have been if he was still on the pitch. And he just wasn't there. Like, his positioning was terrible. I was so happy for him when he got his goal against Wolves. But he started the game against Luton and didn't do anything. And even when he was playing against Liverpool, he just ran the ball out of play when we were aiming to get a winner. Now, the Taiwo obviously doesn't start over Wood. Wood is in brilliant form. He's our first choice striker for a good reason, because he is a brilliant player. But in the event that we're chasing a game or we need a goal and Wood's not on the pitch, I never feel like Taiwo will provide that. We saw it against Liverpool, and we've seen it again against Southampton. And we've saw it other times in the season as well. I think that a striker is paramount at the moment. But the real question is, who do we bring in? Because there's not a lot of strikers about at the moment, and even less strikers that Forest could realistically target. Like, I'd love Gyökeres or Osimhen to join the side, but that's very unlikely at the moment, as unfortunate as that may be. But, you know, in this window, we have been linked with a fair few strikers, and I think the one that really I like the most is Johan Visser for Brentford. He just became Brentford's top Premier League goal scorer, and, you know, he's a quality player. We were looking at him in the summer, but that didn't materialise. I'm not sure if we offered what Brentford were looking for or something. I can't remember if we even placed a bid, but we were definitely interested in him in the summer and interested in him reignited during the winter window. But the only issue I have, and I believe Visser probably has as well, is who starts. Because, like I said, Chris Wood is in fine form at the moment, but Visser wouldn't want to play second fiddle. Like, he's the first choice striker at Brentford, and I imagine he'd want to start for Forest as well, and you can understand why. And he's a good player as well, so he does have that potential. He wouldn't dislodge Wood at the moment, as far as I'm aware, but hey, that could all change. But then I'd feel like Wood was hard done by as well, because he's been quality last season and this season. Another name I've heard is Yuri Alberto from Corinthians. He's a young bloke, doing well in Brazil, had a steady season the previous season, and this season's really kicked on, started scoring his goals, and, you know, he's Brazilian. We love a Brazilian player. And I think, you know, he's still quite young, so he could learn a lot from Wood and up his game whilst getting minutes in the Premier League. I don't think he'd start, but he definitely has the potential to become a starter when Wood leaves the club, God forbid. But yeah, I think playing under Wood, and Graben is also doing some training as well, so learning from Graben as well would be a valuable experience for the young lad. And he'd also provide a different profile of player to what Wood and Taiwo offer, which is something that I think we really need, especially a different profile from Taiwo. Because my God, he's not doing it for me at the moment. Lorenzo Luca has also been an option that's been floated for Udinese, but that's more of a summer target from what I can see. I won't mind it though, to be fair. Honestly though, if I had to go for a striker that's going to be available, it would be Jonathan David. But again, much like Luca, that is a summer target for any club, really. I don't think you'd leave Lyon at the moment, but in the summer, we go for Jonathan David. I'd happily take that. I've even said, like, you know, get a little striker on loan, you know, get Evan Ferguson in on loan, you know, give him some valuable game time, and then we're free in the summer to target a proper striker. And I think Jonathan David should be that player. But yeah, I wouldn't mind Evan Ferguson. Obviously, he's not at his best at the moment. We know he can be a phenomenal player. And if he came in, it would be on loan. But that is a loan addition I would like to see because quality player and can definitely score a good load of goals. Plus, studying under Wood as well can only be beneficial to the lad. So even if Evan Ferguson came in on loan with no obligation to buy, I wouldn't mind it at this point because it means we could go for a proper striker in the summer who could and probably will be better. So I'm all for that. But to answer the title, you know, can Forest go all the way? I think so. You may call me crazy, but just look at things. We're third in the league, level on points with Arsenal, and 6 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool can show that they can and will stumble, and Arsenal have shown the exact same, even to a probably greater extent than Liverpool. I don't think Arteta is going to do much with his Arsenal side, I can't lie. Forest do have a very tough run coming up, and there's no doubt we are going to drop points. We've got Bournemouth away and Newcastle away, 2 fixtures which are going to be very hard. We never win against Bournemouth, and Newcastle looking phenomenal at the moment. So I'm not expecting to get anything from those 2 games, but we're going to host Man City, and we're going to host Arsenal at the City Ground. We can definitely get something from at least one of those games. Man City are kind of coming back into form at the moment. They've put 6 past Ipswich, so it's going to be tough. I'm not saying we're on the level of Ipswich, but Man City look to be getting back to where they were, and of course they beat us back at the Etihad quite comfortably as well. So it's going to be 2 tough games or 4 tough games, but there's no reason why we can't get anything from those games. We're Nottingham Forest. Realistically, we're not going to win the league, but it's not over till it's over, and there are still 16 games to go. So we could see Yatesy lift the Premier League trophy when it's all said and done, and I, for one, would love that. Just imagine, you know, the open top bus parade through Nottingham, Yatesy lifting the Premier League trophy, everyone having a great time. Ah, what a time that would be. If we won the Premier League, that would probably be one of the best days of my life. I'll just put it up there. I'd still be happy with a top half finish, I can't lie. Anything above 8th would be class, because that's guaranteed some form of European football. And from 5th upwards, perfect. I desperately want to see the boys in Europe, and this is looking at this season where that dream can become a reality. Discounting any major drop-off, we should see Forest in Europe next season. And I can't wait. Come on, you Reds. Let's dream, boys. Let's dream. So yes, I've been O2GT, and that has been me yapping about Nottingham Forest once again. I kind of like doing these sort of, I guess, monthly, almost, reviews of Nottingham Forest, because crazy things happening at this football club, and I'm just here for the ride. Nuno has got us dreaming, and he's having quite a few beverages with him as well. So, no complaints from me here. I think Nottingham Forest are doing well. What do you think? Do you think we could win the league? Do you think we'll get Champions League football? Do you think we'll even get European football? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.